I really realized that I am the boss. I'm not a slave to the body. I'm using the body. I'm not serving the body.
Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman.
Hey, welcome everybody to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. I am so grateful to be here today with a true spiritual rock star. I'll tell you. I've been I have followed this person, this amazing guest of ours, online prior to any contact with him or his team or anything, and been impressed by the energy, like the flow of the consciousness, and him and his son on the YouTube videos and whatnot, guaranteed prosperity. And so I'm just really grateful to have, and he is obviously accomplished in many ways in terms of business and philanthropy, etc. You're going to be really, really impressed by what he has to share today. So Meir, it's really a great pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you for interviewing me, and I'm looking forward.
All right, let's share more about you first, and then we'll get right into the rest. Meir Ezra is a spiritual entrepreneur, a unique combination of business with spirituality. Meir believes that if you focus on money only, your life will never be a true success, because what is money good for without love, personal fulfillment, and growth across all areas of life? Amen. Additionally, practicing spirituality only and no ties to money will never lead to true success, because enlightenment without being able to pay your bills, going hungry, or amassing debt simply isn't true success either. Oh, that's fantastic. Meir's combination of both have led him to achieve much true success in his life. After completing 6 years in a top unit in the Israeli submarines, Meir traveled the Far East and then moved to Cape Town, South Africa, where he established his company, which grew to $100 million within 3 months, not years, months, by the age of 31. He went on to establish multiple companies across the globe, has many inventions and patents to his name, and has invested in countless businesses. Meir is a philanthropist involved in various community projects, ranging from getting people off drugs to helping children learn, and has donated millions of dollars to charitable organizations. So, yeah, it's a great, like I said, honor, pleasure to have you here. It's interesting, your story there. So you, I mean, $100 million company by the age of 31. Some people may think, is it possible he sold his soul, kind of to get the money and the success? Did he work 1 billion hours a week? All these sorts of things. So I'm curious, to hear a little bit about your journey, because it is remarkable. Not the average person has accomplished such things at that young age. Is on top of that, at that young age, right? So I'd love to hear a little bit more about the unfoldment of such success at a young age. Let's start there.
Okay, so let's start at a really young age.
Yes.
I was born with my 2 feet pointing backward. And from the age of 3 days to the age of 6 years, I was in cast up to my hip. And every 3-4 days, they will take off the cast, and will break the foot, just turning them around. And after 6 years, the foot looked at the right direction, but the doctor says that I will not be able to walk or do anything. And I said, I think differently. And I started to rehabilitate the legs, because they had no muscles. I didn't walk for 6 years. I didn't know how to walk. So I was basically on a wheelchair without the cast, but on a wheelchair. And I recovered that only by really realizing that you, the spirit, is the boss. I really realized that I am the boss. I'm not a slave to the body. I'm using the body. I'm not serving the body. Most people serve the body. Most people have headache and the whole day is gone. Or if they're hungry, they cannot be logical. And if they're tired, they cannot work. So I realized I use the body. Now, with this kind of viewpoint, when at the age of 18, every Israeli have to go to the army. So at the age of 18, I volunteered to this top unit. And luckily, at that time, there was no computers. So when they asked me if I have any physical problem, I said no. And they just took it at face value. And I've done the whole process, which was a 2-year course. We started 4,000 people. And after 2 years, we finished 21. And I was one of those 21. And I've done it because I really knew that your spiritual condition define your condition in life. So later on, I went to the Far East, I climbed the Himalaya, I've done all kind of things, and I decided, okay, I want to make money. So I've started this company. And again, I didn't know English. Really, I couldn't speak English. I had long hair, earrings. I didn't look like a businessman, but I sold to BP, British Petroleum, a $100 million deal at the age of 31. Again, how? By realizing that I, the spirit, is the boss. The spirit, the definition of or my definition of the word spirit is the nothingness that can bring about any somethingness. So it's a nothing that can bring about something. And the moment that you realize that you have this God gift ability to bring about anything out of nothing, you realize that you don't have limitations, because I didn't born in a rich family. I didn't have money. My body did not work so well. I didn't know English. Everything was against me, but not in my viewpoint. It's just exterior to me. People thought that it's against me. I thought it's not an issue at all. It is what it is. Like I explained that usually if a person born in the middle of the Sahara and he needs to fight sandstorms and no water and crabs and all kind of things like that, for him it's normal. For a baby like that, it's normal. He doesn't consider it is a problem. So it's not a problem. Really, it's not a problem. In this universe, most people concentrate on how everything is a problem. And for me, nothing is a problem. Nothing. In my universe, nothing is a problem. I've never been worried for a second. Whatever happened, good, bad, if someone shot at me and I was shot at in the army, or if someone shouted at me, or if someone wanted to help me or attack me or anything, everything was no problem. Whatever comes, okay, no problem. And that viewpoint is what brings the success, because the spirit knows. I say that learning is not a process of adding data. It is a process of removing lies. It is removing something that a word that I invented, or idiom that I invented, that's called fake reality. Fake reality is a piece of information that you are 100% sure is correct, but when you use it, it doesn't bring the expected result. So every time you don't have the expected result in life, if you have anxiety, if you don't have money, if you're sick, if you're anything, you are relying on fake reality. Remove the lie and you don't need data, because the spirit knows. The spirit knows. It is quite amazing that the spirit actually know. And just one last story. When I was 3 years old, still with the cast and everything, one day I woke up and the radio at our house did not work. Now, I remember some of the story, and some of the story my parents and the family tells about it like 100 times or 1,000,000 times. And anyway, I woke up in this morning, I see the radio is not working. So I opened the back of the radio, 3 years old, yes. Take out one of these vacuum tubes. For the listeners that don't know what a vacuum tube is, it's just because you're too young. But it was used to be like a transistor or a chip that you know today. So we took I took one of these vacuum tube. I went to my dad, woke him up, And I said, Dad, this vacuum tube is blown. And he told me, how do you know it's this vacuum tube and not anyone else? I said, how do you know your name? When you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we replaced the vacuum tube, the radio worked. And from that time, 3 years old forward, I was fixing electronics. I was fixing radios, tape recorders. At the age of 6, I built amplifiers, planned and built amplifiers. By the age of 13, I started to teach electronics for adults. Never studied electronics in my life, never opened a book. So the spirit knows.
Mm-hmm.
There is no doubt about it. And the
Mm-hmm.
only limitation that you have is the thing that you consider that you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Because you already know.
So you're a pretty tuned in guy then, right? Yeah, you're, I mean, so that's pretty wild. I mean, I do remember that story about your feet. And I remember that's the story a bit, although it's told differently, I'm sure the first time I heard it. You know what I mean, in terms of how it's presented. But yeah, that's really remarkable. So you had all these people going on about how horrible it was that you were in this condition, and that's how you started your life. And you swear like, no, I didn't think that way at all. They were all going on about it, but as far as I was concerned, I mean, do you remember having thoughts about you just accepted like it? Oh, this just is what it is. Did you see
Yeah.
it as an advantage possibly? Like maybe this is an advantage that I have this condition at the, early. I'm just curious. Like if you had, or if you're just neutral, like, no, it just is what it is, but I'd prefer it not to be ultimately, right? Because you did work your way through it. So
So it wasn't, I didn't consider it as a limitation at all. And I also had total certainty that it's temporary, that I'm going to fix it. I remember that I was talking to one of my friends that later on, many, many years later, when we had one of this reunion, he reminded me of this conversation. I was probably about 6 or 7 years old, and we were at the school. We were going to the school, and he was pushing me. And he told me, how will you manage in life? So I told him, what do you mean, how will I manage in life? He said, you cannot walk. And I said, well, I cannot walk now. And he said, yeah, but this is like, it's forever. I said, I don't know anything around here that stay forever for a second. Everything changes. And you want to tell me that this stays forever, that I'm so unique that it will stay forever, that this thing will stay forever, everything else is changing, and this condition will stay forever? How? It's impossible. And I had this total certainty that it's totally temporary and it's totally up to me to fix it. No one will fix it, not a doctor, not anyone. I knew it's me and only me. And if I decide that it will be, it will be. I used to say to my parents that the physical universe surrender to my wishes. I had this viewpoint that the physical, when I show up, the physical universe surrender to my wishes. If I come to a radio, it will tell me what's wrong and I will know how to fix it. If I come to a car, we had, not long ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, I had a big seminar here in South Africa. And I had a group of lots of people. We were driving in this big bus and we were going to do a bungee jump as part of the seminar. And the bus broke. And we needed to get to do the bungee jumping. Otherwise, we will be all late and so on. So I said, not a problem. I'll fix it. And the driver said, what do you mean you'll fix it? I don't have tools. I don't have anything. How will you fix it? I said, don't worry, I'll fix it. I opened the engine at the back, figure out what was the problem, stop someone, got some tools, fixed it. The physical universe surrendered to me. Always.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I learned I could fix a car without even touching the engine. I mean, all you have to do is just decide. I mean, it's really that simple, but we don't believe it, so then it doesn't happen, right? So, but when we
Exactly.
believe it, it happens, right? So, I mean, It is. It is. I totally appreciate. What's really interesting to me is that you were that clear. So, the way it's presented is like that young and that clear and that automatically and naturally, like it's almost as though you came in totally awake, totally understood it, and that was that. And it's not like you told me like, no, I was just really smart. I started reading books when I was like 1 or 2, and like one of the books I got was like about metaphysics, and I took to that. That's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing like something inside you just always knew.
Yeah, I knew. It's not something inside me. It's me. I knew.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's me. I knew.
Right,
The spirit
right,
is this thing that knows.
right, right. The eye knows. Yeah.
And the magic is, how do you take something that totally know and make it believe that it needs to eat and sleep? Make it believe that it is what belongs to him. You think that you are not you, but generally people think that they are their body. And this is real. I'm not my body. My body, it's belong to me. I'm the owner. It's just something that I own, like my car, like my house, like my cell phone. I'm not my body, but most people, if they have pain in the body, they say, "Oh, there's pain," and they consider that it is them that in pain. No, the body is in pain. I can continue to work. It's not a problem. The body is like there's a scratch in the car. It doesn't mean that I cannot go and drink coffee.
Right, 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 right. Nice, nice. Yeah. So from that opportunity to make a, so did you find you were like, I have so many questions, it's hard to know where to be. So did you find that you were like influencing other people when you were younger, like with this, understanding, this knowing from the eye, or however you want to put it, but like knowing that, did it influence others?
Yeah, so I was always the person that anyone that had any problem will come to me. Any problem, any problem. Older people, younger people, always any problem, people will come to me, and they will know that I will do with them some kind of a process. I'll do some kind of a drill. From very young ages, I will take people and get them to do all kind of weird drills. Like I'll get them to touch the walls and talk to to different parts of their body. And I was very aware of entities that running the bodies, that your body is not run by chemicals reaction, but actually there are actual degraded beings that run the body. So I was very aware of all kind of things that are people are not aware of at all. But because I was aware of it, I will be able to give people all kind of drills, and those drills brought such phenomenal reaction and improvements that people thought all kind of things about me, other than the simplicity that I simply know. I simply know. It's like nothing. I just know. It's simple. It's nothing. I just know. It's like when you know your name, it's not such a big thing. I just know.
Right, right. And I
It's
love that
nothing
because
really impressive.
that's the attitude that's needed. I mean, really, because for everyone, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
because I want to say, as a fellow sentient being or whatever you consider us, I would consider like your charge in life is to help other people realize the same, right, for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that I know that my purpose is to help people help themselves. This is my purpose. I want to help. That's why I'm doing everything I do. I have enough money long time ago for generations. So this is not what I'm not after the money, although I'm Jewish. So I have enough money. So money is not my motivation. And I work 21 hours per day. Not because I need money, because really this is the last thing that I'm worried about. But because I love helping people. I love it. It is something that when I go to sleep, I'm restless. I can sleep for 20 hours, but I'm restless because I want to do the next thing. I have more meetings, and I help this, and I help that, and I can do that, and I can invent that, and I can do this. And I'm always at full throttle, and I describe it as I feel that I don't eat much, but I eat life. I feel like there is like my thing is to eat life. I love every second. And why? Because I love helping. I love helping. I love to see this improvement with people, the reactions with people, the realizations that people have. All of a sudden, they remove some blocks and they see things that I saw for a year now. And all of a sudden, the guys see it. And it took me so long to get him to remove blocks. And then he realized that everything is simple because complexities result in unworkabilities. So every time I see unworkability, I know there is complexities, and the source of complexity is just some kind of a lie. It's never lack of data. It's too much lies. Never lack of data.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and every time I hear that from people, it's like you might hear it a little different. It's like you transmitting that and saying that sounds different than someone else. Oh, it's in the simplicity where it all works. But the way you just said it evokes a different feeling, like, oh, yeah. Like I think about bringing on somebody to help activate things in my business right now. And part of me is like, yeah, but what do I need to do, in order to get that going then? And now that they're coming on, and it's like there's not much for me to do if I let it happen that way. Like there's not much for me to do. All I have to do is just kind of be here to be of support to them. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, but we do. You're right. We make everything so complex. What will be all our plans? And we better think it through a million times. And yet, everything's like, I did nothing, yet everything's accomplished, in a sense, right? And yet we could be very focused and vigorous at the same time. So yeah, I totally understand that aspect of it completely. But most of us are still caught up in it though, right? We're still caught up in continuing to keep ourselves busy. Let's do, oh my God, what should I do? What do I need to do? Right? There's not enough space in order for you just to be who you really are, right? And then just bring that forth, right? I don't know. It's kind of how I'm hearing you. That's what I kind of understand about it. So, but yeah, that's what I'm hearing so far.
Yeah. Once you'll see that knowledge result in control. And control equals income. Knowledge result in control. What does it mean, control? Control means the ability to start, change, and stop. If I can start a car, change a car, and stop the car, I control the car. If I can start a thought, change the thought, and control the thought, and stop the thought, I control the thought. If I can start my wife, change my wife, and stop my wife, I'm a magician. But but really, control is the ability to start, change, and stop. And you'll see that most people start, sometimes change, but never stop. They never fully stop. They always leave something open. Sometimes a lot open, and sometimes a little bit open. And the more things you leave open, the less control you have, the less income you have. And income is not necessarily dollars or cash. Income is this thing that you must consider that you need. So, for example, if you need time, well, okay, good. So this is what will be the result if you actually start to close those cycle of actions. So the reason people are not successful is because they have an inability to start, change, and stop. And they have a lot of open cycles around them. And it's like a computer. When you open in a computer many programs, you will start to slow down, and eventually you'll crash. People don't call it a crash or slowing down in a computer. People experiencing it as stress, as anxiety, as lack of time. There
Mhm.
is no lack of time.
Mhm.
There is lack of an ability to close cycle of action.
Mhm.
And the basic principle behind it, when someone complains about something, he says, I don't have time, but he still don't have time. You need to know that he doesn't know why.
Mhm.
Because if he knew why, he will solve the problem.
Right.
So it's the fact that he listened to himself and tried to fix it according to his fixing, what will be, the problem will be bigger. Because if you try to fix a problem by using the wrong reason for the problem will grow. And you see
Right.
that any person that have a problem with, let's say, lack of time or lack of money, the problem grows over time. Why? Because he's using the wrong reason for the problem. The right reason for the problem shrink the problem and eventually kills it. The wrong reason take the problem and makes children and grow a family of problems.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like whatever the Einstein quote is. I always get these quotes a little off sometimes, but yeah, you can't solve a problem from the same consciousness that created it, kind of idea, right? So,
Sorry,
so you,
you were breaking up. I didn't hear. Can you repeat?
oh, the Einstein quotes that you can't solve a problem with the same consciousness, more or less. I'm saying this is what he said. You can't solve a problem with the same type of consciousness that created the problem. You know, like we're gonna try to solve the problem with this type of consciousness that created the problem.
That's actually, I don't think that it's true, because if I'm the creator of something, I can uncreate it.
Right. But I'm saying you have to come in with a different consciousness.
If I'm the creator of a problem, if I create a computer, I can uncreate the computer. I am the best. If I create the program, I know all the backdoors, I know everything.
Right. Right.
What does it mean create? The
Right.
God create.
Mhm.
God don't have a problem with stopping.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm the creator of something, I'm actually in control. The problem is when you stop being the creator, when you start to believe that you are the effect of the problem, then what happens is that you cannot actually handle the problem. The problem become your boss. The creator is the boss, because the create by definition is someone that put it there.
Right.
The moment that you let it survive, continue over time, you release your responsibility. Something that continue is something that you are not responsible for. It is going on automatic. Something that you create, you put it there every second, you put it there every moment. Actually, the only way to solve any problem is to become again the creator of the problem, which means to assume responsibility over it.
Yeah, you have the chance to stop being the creator of the problem, right? So you get to stop it.
Yeah. Now, once you stop being the creator, you can become the effect of it.
Right.
Someone else starting to write part of the code of the software that I'm writing, now I'm becoming an effect because I don't know what he did. But if I write the code, I know what I'm doing. And even if there is a bug, I can fix it. It's not a problem. It's me.
So have you ever found yourself, I know you said, I have no problems. I've never thought I've had a problem. Have you ever found yourself in a place where you're like, wow, I actually did create this problem, so to speak, you know, like a situation, you're like, oh, I created this. What do you know? Like, and then you got to delete, change, and all that. And have you had some experiences with that?
So the definition of the word problem is force counter force. Okay. Which means that if one of the side will stop pushing, the problem will not be there, which means I'm creating the problems. Yes. So if I'm creating the problem, I cannot really assume that it is a problem because I'm creating it. It's mean I want it. And the moment that you have this realization, you actually realize that anything that is in your way, it's a barrier. What's the difference between a barrier and a problem? A problem is something that you consider that you cannot currently solve it. And a barrier is something that you know that you can solve. It's not solved, but it's solved. It's not a problem. I'll find a way. It's easy, no problem. Yeah, I know. I need to pay the check, but I have the money in the bank. I didn't pay the bill yet. I need to pay the bill, but I have the money. I didn't pay the bill yet, but it's fine. I have the money in the bank. I can pay. So it's just a barrier. Barriers are amazing for people because barriers are the source of happiness. Happiness, the word happiness means the overcoming of barriers. Happiness is not a state. It's actually an action. It's climbing the mountain. It's not arriving to the top. Arriving to the top, you're not happy anymore. It is the overcoming of obstacles towards a goal. So barriers are wonderful. This is what wake me up in the morning because I have to overcome this, to fix that person, to help this guy. Barriers, barriers, barriers. But the point is that I know, like I'm breathing, like I know my name, that there's nothing to it. I can handle it with nothing. Like I just need to look at it and it goes away. Well, the problem is something that a person is considered is unsolvable while he's creating it.
Right. What are we gonna do? We got a problem, right?
No problem. The viewpoint is no problem. When I started this first project with BP in South Africa, so I really didn't know English, and I couldn't read a menu even. My wife had to translate to me. But as we progress with that big project and so on, everything they asked me, I was telling, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. Really. And I really knew that it's not a problem. It's not a problem. And I will explain why with my very broken English. And when the project actually started, it was like a really massive project in South Africa. When the project started, we opened a project team floor, this. You have to understand, it's like BP in South Africa was like 5,000 people, huge building, maybe 30, 40 floors. And we got a whole floor just for this project. It was something that's changing the market. It was like unbelievable. So they say, Project Fuel Master, no problem.
That's great.
That was the viewpoint that I installed.
Yes.
No problem. We're going to make the impossible possible.
Yes.
Not a problem.
Well, even that mentality is powerful. Even that alone, there's no problem. No problem. Yeah.
No problem. Anything that anyone asks me, the first thing I look and I say, no problem, easy. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Nothing is a problem. Someone died, not a problem. Someone born, not a problem.
Right.
Really not a problem. If someone die, he already died. It's not a problem. It's an isness.
Right.
It happened.
Right.
Now, if you can confront it and not make a big show out of it and big dramatization and blah, 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 then you will be able to actually help the living and not cry about the dead. You realize it is what it is, and I'm handling what it is, not what happened in the past.
Right. Yeah. That's interesting. So, again, it's just another way of saying like all these eternal truths in a way, but right? I mean, but it's interesting because like that's where people like to go. Is it simply that they don't understand that they are who they are? Is that, do you think there's any one like truth that sets people free, or is it like they just need to really study with someone like yourself to really kind of understand who they are, then how to utilize who they are better, or is it enough to say I am who I am and there's no problem, I'll just manifest whatever I want and we're good and I'll enjoy everything, I'll love everything, and I'll be good?
So the reason people are in the condition that they are is because they're so powerful. I will explain what I mean. The spirit is this thing that knows. It's really super powerful, omniscient, omnipotent, has no limitation. Now, when you are so powerful, it is extremely boring. It's extremely boring because there's no surprises for you. So what the being started to do, it started to assume that it doesn't know.
Right.
It's just like a game, like you go to a child
Right.
and you play with a child basketball and you say, okay, fine, let me put my hands behind my back.
right,
because otherwise it's like it's not interesting. Like I
Right.
want to make it a little bit interesting. And you tie one hand behind your back and it's still not interesting. So you tie two hands behind your back and it's and you tie your legs and it's still not interesting, and you cover your eyes and it's still not interesting, and you tape your mouth and it's still not interesting, and at one point you realize you went past the point of no return.
Yeah.
So over the trillions, the past 70 trillion years, the being was dedicated to not knowing, not knowing, not knowing, not knowing, not knowing, not knowing. And what he did is say, I'm not knowing, but the mind will know for me. What is the mind? The mind is a series of pictures of everything that happened in the past. Every second you take 25 pictures. Every pictures have 57 perception, and this is your mind. Billions and billions of pictures of everything that happened from the beginning not of this body. And you decided, okay, you know what? I am reducing my knowingness, but the mind will know. So I will look and I will say, well, we will use the mind to know, and I will not know. And so there's a game. So I'm not as powerful. And at one point you realize, or you didn't realize, at one point you went through over this moment of you really believe that you don't know. And you started to do the worst thing that you can do, which is you started to rely on your past. Most people say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different result. I say that's not true. I said this is the definition of tenacity. Tenacity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different result. My definition of the word insanity is attention stuck in the past. I'm not operating based on what in front of me, but I'm operating based on what in front of me remind me of, and the past have more validity than what's right in front of me. So I'm not actually handling what's in front of me. So I'm become cuckoo. You'll see that when you are afraid of something, you're not really afraid of what's in front of you. You're afraid of what it reminds you of.
Yeah.
The danger. Because a child that has less of his past in gear can see the same thing and is not afraid at all.
And we're like, we better be afraid. You better worry, right?
Exactly. And we help them. The adults help him and tell him, hey, you need to be afraid. So, but actually, we're not helping him at all.
Yeah.
Because a child, if you leave a child, because he has no consideration that nothing is dangerous, you leave a child in the middle of the road, 50 people will jump to take care of him and feed him and give him and whatever. Why? Because he doesn't consider the is bad, so there is no bad. But if he's been educated that it's dangerous and it's bad and don't talk to stranger and, of course, something bad will happen to him because he's operating on this past and he's losing his real ability to create, to know.
Right.
Quite fascinating.
It is. It is. It's because, yeah, and anything we're doing again and again, if things had gone well in the past, we might, like in business, because I know you help a lot of business people, is part of what you do anyway. And so, okay, this was what used to work, then let's try it again. Oh, it didn't work, but it's not working out. Oh, but it's worked before. Let's try it again. But it worked before. Let's try it again. But it's not working out. Yeah, but it worked before. Let's try it again. Like, right? I'm sure you run into that a lot. They're so convinced that it worked before, it should work again, that they can't come off of the fact that you're not looking at right now what wants to happen right now. What wants to be created right now, right?
The condition right now is different than the condition of before.
Yes.
So you have to actually operate based on what in front of you and not of what in front of you reminds you of. So you can say that being in present time is the condition where there is no past and no future. Present time is before the beginning, where there is no past and no future. Present time is the span of time that you have total control over. Some people have just minus. They have control over the past, they think. Some people have
That's kind of funny to me. I'm busy controlling the past. So excuse me.
How insane it is. Yes, that's what it in the past. And if you are really the average person control minus time, a very powerful person control maybe a second or two, really control, totally control. And the really special ones, the one that can bring miracles, is those people that actually can have a span of time that control that span into minutes, hours, days. Those people are the real powerful people. And unfortunately, in this universe, there are only few.
So unpack that one for us. You can't give us something that interesting sounding without unpacking it. So unpack us. What does that mean? I know that was it Andrew Carnegie, right? That said people don't know how to. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a big time whatever.
No.
Okay. Anyway, so he said the problem is people don't know how to think, they don't know how to focus, and all that kind of stuff, right? And he's like, your mind doesn't know how to focus for 10 minutes like mine can. If you could just focus for 10 minutes, you could do anything. That's the type of principle. But I think it's like, oh, that's interesting, but we don't know what that means. We don't know what that means. I'd love for you to unpack that for us.
Okay, so let's just look at that statement. So first of all, thinking is substitute for action. For as long as you think, you are useless. The more you think, the more useless you are, because the spirit knows. Thinking is a hope that the past will give you something about now. So thinking is a substitute for action, and the focus is the manifestation of creation. While you're creating, you are very focused. So you don't need to be able to focus, because that's the manifestation of something. You need to be able to create. So in very quick explanation of what I was talking about, I will take you just 2 seconds back. So the smallest number in this universe is 2. The physical universe, the smallest number is 2. Why? Because there is no big without small. There is no plus without minus. There is no beautiful without ugliness. There is no 1 without -1. And 0 is unobtainable. There is no 0 in this universe. There is the concept of 0. But physically, there is no 0. You can go to one side of the universe, to the other side, and you will not find a total vacuum. There's no such thing. So the smallest number in this universe is 2. Everything is composed of 2. This is a very important observation. Everything in this universe is composed of 2. The atom is composed of electron and proton. Nothing survives alone. 7 mean nothing. 7 in relationship to 8 or to 6 mean not something. But there is no 7 alone. So everything, even if you say, well, by the heart is 1, it has, but it's composed of 2s. And the thing that is all together is a concept. The heart is a concept, but it's totally changing, and it's composed of 2. There was never a second when you had 1 heart, because everything changing. The atoms don't wait for a millisecond. The planet is turning continuously. Everything changed. Okay, so the smallest number in this universe is 2. This is a very important observation, and very important to make it real to someone before he can even start to understand anything else. Why? Because if the physical universe is composed of 2, and if the physical universe started at one point, which means it started here, and then we have 2, and then 4, and then 8, and then 16, and then 32, and 64, etc. Yes, 128, etc. So there was a progression, okay? Which means that if I take the physical universe backward, all these 100 trillion years backward, I will get to the first 2 particles that first created it, okay? Now, the word began was not here before. The iPhone began in 2008. It will mean it was not here before. This relationship started 3 months ago. It means it was not here before. Yes? So if the 2 is at the beginning, which means what was before was not 2. What created the 2 is not 2. So the only thing that can create the 2 is something that do not compose of 2. So if we consider the physical universe as a universe of twos, anything that composes of two is actually physical. The creation universe, which we call incidentally the spiritual universe, but it can be the Chakachuka universe, the thing that creates the two is a universe that do not compose of two, but has the ability to create two. And present time is the time before time. It is this moment before you put something there. Present time is the time before time. And when you are before time, you can control what's going on. And when you are within time, you cannot control it because it continues based on what you agreed already.
Right.
Present time is the moment before time. And the more you know that you are senior to time, the more you know that you are exterior to time, the more you know that you are before time, the more you'll control, the more time you'll be able to control. And the span of time that you control is proportional to how you are not relying on your past. Because the past is what hides you from you.
Fantastic. Beautiful. Wonderful. Yeah, this is really helpful, invigorating teachings. However, whatever you describe your teachings, I consider it sort of a metaphysical, construct of trying to teach people something, right? But I did want to talk about there are lots of people who are spiritually oriented that would love the idea of guaranteed prosperity, would love the idea of having a great business or having a great income or whatever. But one of the things you talk about is you were talking to me about like how you help people with money. You said, I guarantee that they'll make X amount of money or whatever, whatever it is, right? So you guarantee that, and you say, I don't care about how they feel. I don't care about any of that. All I care about is what they're going to make, and then we're going to guarantee it and all that stuff. So, and then, so I'm curious, like, and yet you said that's the most, it's almost like you didn't say this, but it's almost like that's actually more spiritual than be like, well, it's all about your feelings and just kind of hoping and tuning in and, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's about like being that definitive is more spiritually attuning than to be like, well, I'm going for it, but I got to consider the balance of my life and this and that or whatever. Like, and I'm totally extrapolating on what you said, but I'm just saying, like, you are really about like this exactness and it's very spiritual. So tell us more about that.
Okay, so in the physical universe, we talk about results because when you bring results, you are happy. And I want people to be happy. And what does it mean to be happy? It means to overcome the barriers on the road to results. So if you had a customer or if you had this complicated deal and you put it together and you overcome this barrier and this barrier and this barrier, you finish, high five, everyone is happy, amazing, we have results. But if you don't have results, you are very depressed and you are not feeling good. So the problem is not feeling, because feeling is the manifestation of results. I didn't see a person that just earned $1 million or $1 billion that he has bad feelings. I don't know those people. Usually, if you just earned $1 billion,
I could give you examples, but maybe not in the $1 billion thing. But in terms of, there are people that become like champions, like in boxing, right? Like Tyson Fury, if you follow boxing, he got to the mountaintop, he won it all, and he went into deep depression. So I don't think that actually is true in every single scenario.
You just totally spot on. Why? I'll explain why. Because I said it is the process of overcoming. The moment that you go to the top, you finish. So happiness is climbing, is the overcoming. You understand? It's not the, oh, I'm at the top. No, this is, you have nothing to climb anymore. So you will kill yourself. If you don't have something to overcome, you will overcome yourself. This is really, if you have no enemies, if you don't have barriers, you make yourself the enemy and you'll destroy yourself. When the purpose is not there, the purpose becomes to destroy you.
Right.
So you are totally with me, because the result is what we are after, to overcome the barriers to bring result. But once I have the result, I need the next barrier. It's like drug, but a very bad drug, because you always have to give the next barrier and the next barrier and the next barrier. And you'll see that the person die when his last of his dreams die, when his last of his barriers die. For as long as you have a barrier to overcome, you will be alive. And that's why when a person get to the top, he start to destroy himself. When a person retire, he start to die. Unless, of course, if they have a new game, a new barrier to overcome. So I'm emphasizing results, because in order to get results, you need to overcome barriers. And the overcoming of the barrier is the basis of morale. Morale comes from overcoming barriers. You become happy because you overcome barriers. You don't become happy because you think good thoughts. Become happy because you overcome barriers. So that's why I emphasize result. Now, in order to overcome barriers, in order to succeed in overcoming barriers, you need to be in a very good spiritual condition, because the spirit is the boss. In order to overcome barrier, you need to work very hard. I define the word hard. It's not my definition. It's just from the dictionary. The word hard means enthusiastically. Most people think that they need to work hard to carry stones, but sitting in the office and clicking and double clicking, it's not work hard, even if it's 10 hours that you click and double click. Yes. So no one, almost no one in this time and age really work hard. Because really, what are you doing? You pick up the phone, you click, you double click. Yeah, sometimes you need to copy and paste. I know it's a lot.
Hard work's a whole construct in itself.
So hard work actually is working enthusiastically. So as long as you're enthusiastic about overcoming the barriers, you're working hard, but it's fun. And when you don't do that in the direction of overcoming barriers, then you really work hard. What does it mean to work hard in my viewpoint? To work without a purpose, to work with an inability to overcome the barriers. That's hard. To fail is very hard. To succeed is wonderful. Succeed do not mean that you don't put the effort, do not mean you don't need to overcome barriers. You have a lot of barriers to succeed. I work 21 hours per day, 7 days a week. Sometimes when I take it easy, I work 20 hours per day. I handle thousands of people, and I have 24 different companies, and I have different executives and boards and lots of moving parts, a lot, more than probably anyone can imagine. Every day I handle maybe 1,000 communications, and every day I finish with my inbox empty. It's religious, like religiously. I finish my inbox with 0 item in the inbox every single day. Whatever it takes. If I don't need to sleep for 2 days, I'm not sleeping. My inbox will be handled. And to do that, you need some strong, real drive. And the drive is your purpose. The fuel for the spirit is the purpose. Fuel for the spirit is the purpose. And what I do with my clients is really why I think that before you can be successful in business, you really need to control you as a spiritual being. You need to be in control, because the spirit is the thing that brings everything. The body, if I will listen to the body, I will not do what I've done in the army. Definitely not recover. Definitely I will not work the hours. Definitely I will not push the weights. I'm 62 years old and I'm pushing more weights than all my kids that younger than me and supposedly supposed to be stronger than me. And most of the people that are much, much, much younger than me in the gym, and in terms of stamina, no one can beat me. If we go not just weight, but stamina, there's no one that can beat me because I'm strong mentally. I don't stop. I just don't stop. I don't care if my hands will drop. I don't stop. Because I know that I'm the boss and the body is here to serve me, and I'm not here to serve the body. I'm not the servant of the body. I'm the boss of the body. And that's viewpoint, this deep knowingness. It's not an understanding, it's knowingness. For as long as it's an understanding, there is level of misunderstanding. So this level of knowingness bring you to such a certainty that nothing is a problem. When nothing is a problem, you're willing to win and lose with the same level of enthusiasm. And so nothing is a problem for you.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. I love it. Love it. Yeah, that's fantastic. You're one of those fascinating guests I could have on again and again forever because there's so many questions I could ask. I'd be like, okay, because I have heard of other people that work 18, 20, whatever hours per day and they sleep, because yeah, I mean, sleep's a construct, right? The sleep studies tell us you need sleep, but they're operating in a different consciousness, a different way, right? So, you need food. Well, do you? Maybe not as much as we thought, right? So, so many things are true until they're not true, right? And based on what you're saying, and yeah, I've got a book I'm going to be bringing out. It's basically talking around the type of things you're talking about. Obviously, not the way you talk about them, because you've got your own way of talking about things, your own experience of things. But it's refreshing to be with somebody that has your level of sophistication and manifestation and everything you've done, and talks this way. So because I don't get guests that talk this way very often at all. So you're very, very unique in your embodiment of you're very unique, period. I'll just say it that way. You're very unique. I appreciate you. So I know you have a wonderful gift to give to people today, something you wanted to share. And I'd like to go ahead and share about that while we still have the time to do that today. So yeah, would you like to tell them about your work with families?
Yeah. So we have something that we call the Family Academy. And the Family Academy is a series of lessons that teaches parents how to be parents and how to build, maintain, and correct the family. And it is something that we've done throughout the world. We deliver it to more than 1 million people. We have more than 1.5 million success stories. If you'll go to my website, you will see that, and you go to the Family Academy, you'll see endless amount of success stories, etc. And what we will do, I will give you a special discount code that anyone that will listen to your podcast will be able to get that discount code, and you can get the Family Academy for free, which is like really something unbelievable. I think that I don't remember exactly how much it costs, but I think it costs something like $2,500 or $3,000. I'm not sure, so I'm not dealing with the numbers, but I think it's about $2,500, $3,000. This is the cost of the full Family Academy.
Yes. So whatever you need to be able to do that, we will put it in the show notes. What I have here just says register totally for free through the link that we've been given. So so however it works, we'll make sure it's for free. It is for free, and it's of tremendous value. Check it out. Because yeah, as you said earlier on, before we got going here, get the freight train going here, so to speak, is that you were talking about, the family is everything, because what's happening with the ones coming up is huge. Let's put it that way.
Family, yeah, the family is the building block of society.
Yes.
When the building blocks are disintegrated, the society will get disintegrated. So I believe it is my responsibility to handle that problem. like I'm doing with the criminals in Israel, like I'm doing with drug addicts, like I'm doing with different areas that I believe that, or that I know has to be handled. So the family is one of those key issue, because once you handle the family, everything get handled. Why? Because the handling of the family is really handling of relationships.
Yes.
And relationships, I define relationship as the pureness of the connection. The more the more the connection is pure, the more it sticks to each other. When you start to put dirt between two things that you try to glue, they don't glue together. Families breaks, relationship breaks when dirt come in between the people, and the dirt come in the form of sins, in the forms of lies, in the forms of fake realities. And if you can remove them, you see that those parts of the relationship glue together like never before. And I define love as the urge to share the same space for no reason at all. A mother wants to share the same space with her baby for no reason at all. This is real love. If it is for reason, then we have a business deal, but it's not love. A marriage is a business deal. Love is not marriage. Marriage is just a very efficient way to grow within a society. Love is something totally different. Love is the urge to share the same space for no reason at all. And to share the same space, you really need this pureness of connection.
Yes.
And so this is what I do. I remove the dirt, or I teach people how to remove the dirt from the connection, and the love just show up. And love has this tendency to remove barriers, which is beautiful.
Awesome. Sounds absolutely awesome, guys. Definitely take advantage of that if you're feeling really good right now and you're feeling like you could use some of that for sure. And absolutely. So I wanted to share with you, Meir, just some fun, a couple of downloads I might have for you in the audience too today. During our energy scan segment. So are you ready to receive?
Yep, for sure.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and tune in and share a couple of things and see what comes through. So just give me a moment and yeah, so I mean, the thing that's just clear that's just soaking in is yeah, I mean, you definitely are meant to continue to lead, obviously, the way you are, but also it's almost like you're like more authentic. Like I don't want to. I don't know. You don't know how you're gonna take this, but like you're like a pope. You know, like you're like, listen, I'm really connected with Source and God. I'm not better. It's just that I'm really connected, or really connected to who I am, or however you want to put it. And you can really transmit that to people, and so I feel like you're that's a really strong conduit. I mean, of all the guests I've had on, you have probably the most confidence of anybody I've had on the show, and I've had really confident people on. So anyway, I don't know, that came through for whatever reasons, and I just wanted to share that real quick. Let's see what else wants to come through today. Yeah. So I look for potential hidden things that maybe are hidden from you even, but what I do notice is in like just I just feel like you've always pretty much, through these lifetimes, there's always been this like looking out for everybody that has been there. And so I was noticing that. So I saw the scene where they're like throwing people overboard off a boat or something, and you're like, no, you're trying to save people. I don't know, it's just like you're always that strength that's like looking over everybody, almost like you're tending to the flock, using biblical terms. And so you've always I could dig in deeper to see if it's always, so to speak. But like, I saw that. I do feel, your energy, like all of us. But there's been, there's been darkness around you, but that adversity, so to speak, or whatever you want to call it, those barriers, right? Those barriers have only made you more determined, is what I kept saying. And so I'm looking more past lives, even because we already heard about this life a lot, right? So I look at past lives and see you just get more determined. And so that's fantastic. And that's why you shine so brilliantly, you lead so brilliantly right now, is because of that. And most people are like, I wouldn't want a life where I live I work 21 hours, but nobody understands, like, they totally would if they understood what it's like to be who they really are, and to be, or to be, in the energy that you're in, or however you want to put it. Like if they stood in your shoes, they'd be like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I just want to put that out there too, because I do recognize that many things, and one of the things is I do believe we're all different. We all have different purposes. We all have different callings. We're all meant to show up in different ways. But I think, the example you bring of what's possible is so strong. And so I just wanted to share those couple of things to wrap up the show today. But yeah, any thoughts on what came through?
Thank you, and spot on, and very, very, very smart, very, wow, and yeah, amazing and impressive, admirable.
Oh, thank you. All right, so folks, if you want to check out more about me, just go to yoursacredpurpose.com. Get there before time gets going, right? So this make the decision in the present. We gotta have fun with this, guys. But yeah, go there. I mean, the Meditate and Make Money meditations for free, and you get into an extraordinary sense of presence and connection and downloads and all that good stuff. And people finding they're making more money as they listen to the meditation, if they actually allow themselves to be present with it. So check that out. There's also an opportunity to get this energy scanning fun with me. So check that out on my website, Rock Your Sacred Purpose Energy Scan Consultation. We're going to take a look at what's going on for you and your energy, and get you your downloads to help you to shine, and for you to be able to be a spiritual rock star, basically, and do the purpose, do the work, do the thing you've come here to do, and do it fully. The full potential, the fullness of what you're here to realize, right? So check that out at yoursacredpurpose.com. So I always like to give the guest the last word here, Meir. So yeah, any last words for the audience today?
I think that if I will give a person an advice for life, realize that life is composed of oneness, while the physical universe is composed of twos. At any moment in time, you will fail only if you try to handle more than one thing at a time. If you will learn to look at one thing and only one thing, you will become competent, because competence means the ability to do what you do when you're doing it. And you can only do that when you handle one and only one thing at a time. And when you handle one thing, then there is nothing else. How do you know you handle one thing? There is nothing else. When you really into something, and when you really handle one thing, there is no time, there is no space, there is no form, there is no energy, there is nothing. There is you. And at that moment, you are the boss. So for as long as there is anything other than you are not you.
Fantastic. Another massive gem. I'm really grateful. So I'm so glad you're doing these podcasts. This is so amazing. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you very much, and thank you for listening.
All right. So to all those listening, like I always say, keep on tuning in and we'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time.
For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.